So welcome to the very first Bitesize Irish Gaelic podcast. I'm Eoin, and if you're learning to speak Irish outside of Ireland, this is the podcast for you. And for all about this podcast, go to bitesizeirishgaelic.com/podcast. And today, the very first podcast, I'm very happy to have my friend Liam on the show. We're here in Limerick, in Limerick, Ireland. Fáilte Seach Liam.
Carmagad.
Constantú inniuh.
Ínta gar fad. Lá Bra.
Lá Bra, Saurig, tá sé déananig sa tránóna. Sort tír sa orm cahamira.
Lenny Roy.
We're Lenny with the English. So it's a bit weird for us, I think, isn't it, Liam, to be speaking in English together? Cause
yes.
We're usually
most of the time it's Irish. That's right.
And when we're starting off the podcast, some people might know it as Irish or Irish Gaelic or just Gaelic. But we're two guys living in the west of Ireland and with different interests. So Liam, tell me a little about yourself. How would you introduce yourself in 2 sentences? What would you say?
Cracked and Gaelic.
Yeah, cool. So you grew up around near Limerick City, but wasn't it out in the...
Yeah, just about 7 or 8 miles outside of Limerick City.
What's the place called?
A place called Barrington's Bridge. A little village, hamlet you could call it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And you lived there all your life?
I've lived there all my life.
Yeah.
Well, apart from a few spells in college and travelling abroad. Yeah, that sort of thing. You know,
we have to get out. But it's nice to be out in the countryside too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah. So we're sitting here in my home. There's probably dogs barking outside. There's baby Liam in the next room who could be crying, but sure, that's the way these podcasts go, isn't it? First of all, you're into your Irish language.
Yes.
It's safe to say.
Yeah.
You've been learning Welsh, or you had been learning Welsh as well.
That's right, yeah. How
did you get into being interested in Irish? Because the average Irish person is not interested in the Irish language especially, so...
Yeah, well, I suppose, like most Irish people, certainly secondary school, zero interest. Even in college, there was zero interest. I'd say it was my final year in college.
What kind of age were you then, just so people understand?
I suppose usual, 22, 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21. I suppose I met up the Irish Society in college and went to a few events.
What even made you go there? Because most people would not bother to meet other people in an Irish society, so... Well,
I suppose, look, they had good parties as well. You know, to be honest about it, they did. I suppose that really reawakened an interest for me in Irish, yeah.
Were your parents at all interested in this kind of side of Irish life, or...?
No, not at all.
Interesting, yeah.
So then, I suppose I went to Australia just a few months after graduation. And it was there that I really got an interest in it, because I actually went to Surrey Hills.
Right, what's that?
It's the Cumann na Gaeilge na Australia, the sort of Irish Language Society in Australia. One of their principal places is in Surrey Hills in Sydney. And I actually, believe it or not, ended up in classes in Sydney.
Were you learning?
With all these fluent English guys and Aussie guys.
Cool, so they had learned to speak Irish.
Yeah, and they were at that stage were more fluent than myself.
Cool.
And the barman spoke Irish, because there was a little bar there as well,
Cool.
So it was great, nice. Yeah.
And how long did you spend in those lessons or around there?
I was there a few months, I was 3 months there.
Were you working or just on holidays? Or?
Oh, I was working, I was working alright. And then, after that I moved to Melbourne. And Melbourne, there's even more Irish language scene in Melbourne.
Okay, excellent. I don't know,
they have singing nights, they have Sean-Ó singing nights and all sorts there.
What's Sean-Ó singing?
Oh yeah, well, there's no real definition of Sean-Ó singing, but for me, I suppose, it's unaccompanied singing in the Irish language. So which means it's not, just because a song is in Irish language even, doesn't mean it's Sean-Ó's.
Right. How would you literally translate Sean-Ó's?
Old style.
Old style.
It's very ornamental singing.
Yeah.
It can be very sad. And the notes in the middle and the end are always lengthened, basically.
What do you think... Right, this is very hard to do, but the average Irish person, what do they think of Sean-Ó's if they hear it on...
Bawling.
They'd be crying.
Kind of bawling, yeah, I would say.
So bawling, crying, right?
bawling. Yeah, maybe bawling, crying even. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I know you as Liam Ó Briain.
Yes,
but
that's right.
You were born as
William Ó Briain. Yes.
So legally in Ireland, isn't this the case that you're basically, okay, it can take a bit of paperwork if you've established yourself in a certain Irish version of your name or the English equivalent of your name.
Yeah.
But we have the legal right in Ireland to use either. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
So you grew up William Ó Briain, but was it in your 20s you became...
Again, yeah, I'd say it was probably 2024 thereabouts. Right. Just kind of came back from Australia.
Yeah.
I suppose what I started with was my passport. When I came home, I changed my passport.
Because it was William.
Yes. And then after that, you go into your driving license, your insurance, your tax, your bank, all that sort of stuff.
And it can be hard, but I guess once you have the passport.
Yeah, the passport was fine. Once that was done, then you could change pretty much everything else. All you needed is your passport and a few months' bank statements, and you're kind of sorted. I'm not totally sure though how legal it is. Like, I have changed my name, but not legally.
Obviously, your birth cert is still William.
Yes, that would be right. Yeah.
Your Irish passport says Liam.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So as long as you have that,
that's it. That's the proof.
I mean, you can always switch back to William if you get kicked out of some country.
I was always thinking of that. Like, you know, it's
isn't that what they say?
It's a fallback. Yeah. It's like the Irish people going to Australia, who would be there a few times. On a few different names, you know, the Irish name and the English name, and yeah.
Do you, just out of matter of interest, do you give your address in Irish?
I do.
Yeah. Because I find it a bit hard, like.
But I always put down County Limerick at the end, just to be at least the people know what county it's in.
So you, let's say, just your surname is Ó Briain, so that O is an O fada, and with a sheen fada, and for people who don't know, there's an accented, it's a line above the O. So I'm sure, Liam, that you often get an apostrophe thrown into your surname, do you? No,
usually there's no, basically there's no O fada, obviously. A lot of people, you know, they don't.
Yeah, they can't type the character.
The
accent, But just by habit, they kind of, for me anyway, with O Cruhur, that's my surname.
Yes.
So they throw in the apostrophe when they're typing it, and you get a lot of that.
Yeah. Or what I get is more, I suppose, people saying you're Liam Ó Briain, even though it's spelt O fada Briain. I say no, it's Ó Briain.
Ó Briain, yeah. Once I was giving my name at the local university where I work in another company, because I'm a web developer there, and I had to give my name for the registration card, for the campus card. I was telling her my name. I said, would you mind making sure you write in the fadas? So she told me, sorry, that's not possible. And I told her, just with the Irish keyboard, you know, you can press Control Alt and the letter if you have that setting. And she tried it and she said, no, that's not possible.
Control Alt and it was 0201 or something.
Oh, that's for the Alt numbers as well. That's another one, right?
Yeah.
The thing was, she was using caps lock instead of the shift key.
Yes.
Small thing, right? But she was just telling me, no, that is not possible. I'll give you another example while we're on the subject.
Okay.
Like, I was booking a flight with Aer Lingus, so that's Ireland's national carrier, and I typed in my name with all the accents, and they told me that my name was invalid. So I contacted their customer service and I said, like, how dare you? My name is not invalid. You better fix your systems, but those little things, So we'll jump on. You are interested in a bit of, like we said, sean-nós singing, but you like your sean-nós dancing as well, don't you?
Definitely, yeah.
Can you explain what it is?
Sean-nós dancing, it's old style dancing, it's old style steps that originally have come from Connemara and Clare. And up until recently, I'd say up until about 5 years ago, it was only confined to Clare, to Connemara, a small little Gaelic area in Meath called Rathcarn. But since then, it has just blossomed all over the country.
Can I just wonder whether it's TG Cahir?
Yes, it's definitely down to that, because they actually televise that every year.
Yeah, so just to explain, the TG Cahir written the letters TG and 4, That's the Irish language TV station that we've had probably in Ireland 15 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's a massive resource for Irish learners abroad, I think, because you can watch it for free. They hard code the subtitles in English, which there's a lot of complaints about, but it's a good resource when you're learning or starting off. So they televised the dancing?
So they televised the dancing championship. It's basically, at this stage, it's actually the world Channels Dancing Championships, essentially, because we now have people last year, I noticed, from New York and the Czech Republic who actually travelled from those countries to Ireland for it. So we can safely say it is the
World Champion!
The World Championship at this stage.
Well, I was going to say a bit like the Baseball World Championship, but okay, for people listening and who are into that kind of thing, they're shouting at me for using the wrong name, and okay, there's a couple of countries in that. Okay, so have you ever entered for this championship?
I haven't. I did about 8 or 9 months 2 years ago in UL, actually.
That's the University of Limerick here.
That's right. Yeah. An American guy, Nick, was teaching us and he was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So it's good to have a few steps anyway.
I'd say it's good exercise too, isn't it?
It is. It's seriously hard exercise, yeah.
But it would be a person in front of the fire, basically, like entertaining the
Oh, absolutely.
the crowd, isn't it?
The thing with Channels dancing is you kind of dance in like square.
Okay, what do you mean? You don't move around
You don't
much.
go, yeah, exactly, yeah. And you can go forward and back and decide.
So do you kind of work the floor square?
You work the floor square, exactly. And people have been known to dance on tables as well. That's just a perfect platform for Channels dancing.
Excellent. And do the arms flap around much, or?
There's different styles.
Oh, okay.
It's a loose style of dancing, so some people have the arms like down by the side, and others have the arms up in the air all the time they're dancing.
That'd be quite like a bit of flair to that, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. That's why it's. I don't think it's as staid as Irish dancing, where they have to have the hands rigidly pulled in.
And then yeah, cool. So, like, are you dancing these days, or is it just kind of an interest you have in? It's
an interest I have. Every so often I pop up in a pub, of course, after a few drinks. Where else?
Yeah.
You know.
So, sure, why not? We'll jump into a bit of Irish again. So, Bhímar na of Gaelimni, right? Limerick. So, I've asked them to get in with in Gaelimni Mliana.
Tásúla gom. Tásúla gom.
Well, more on Dini, fós ar an lista.
Well, tá hart ar srucha dó duine ar an lista.
Okay, that's, yeah. So,
meetup.com.
Meetup.com, yeah. Meetup.com. Gaelimni, sin an grúpa, is just cada casmadidir chéile sa títábharna. Bhí cúpla rodada rinnemer nach raibh.
Siúlódí, stólam. Agus bhí trust tróratha, museum agus
bhí sin go maith, yeah.
In san gallery alley in chumá.
Yeah, tá sé go deas cas ar Dini.
Dini nua, Dini better.
Yeah.
Ní sean Dini iad.
No, however, sin, just to switch back to English, so how Liam and myself actually met was Liam got in contact with me, and it was with an interest to like set up a meetup group, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
For like Irish speakers, so just meet up and have a chat, ask Gaeilge in Irish. So that was a good 3 years ago, I would say, was it?
Yeah. Right up with the 3rd anniversary at this stage,
yeah. It's funny, isn't it? We take kind of summer off.
It's deserved.
Yeah, we deserve it, yeah. But we made up in local pubs in Limerick, and we've gone on a few walks as well.
That's right. Guided tours of museums, art galleries, yeah.
I saw new things in Limerick City just through this group. There's always a new person who shows up. They actually seem to get younger and younger, don't they? The people who show up.
The age profile, I mean, it's all ages, really.
It's excellent, yeah. There's maybe some people listening to this who have a particular interest of meeting Irish speakers, but they're telling me, I'm in the middle of the state, there's absolutely nobody who wants to meet up. I wonder if there's maybe like an Irish pub near them or something like that, but what we found to be a great mechanism for Gaelimni in Limerick is using meetup.com. So I think that's a great tip if you're trying to start to meet people for learning Irish or for whatever other subject. Its best job is to get in contact with people, doesn't it? So it like sends out the emails for you and stuff like that. Yeah. Publicizes it, yeah. So, Liam, there was another thing we had a laugh about before. You were learning Spanish, right? Or you had the intention to?
I had the intention to.
Right, so
I had good intentions.
Tell us the story, like, where were you going to?
Well, I wanted somewhere more exotic than Spain.
Right.
The Irish people, Spain isn't that exotic.
Yeah, a lot of people go from Ireland just
you go on your holidays to Spain.
Yeah. Right.
So I was either going to be somewhere like Guatemala or Cuba or Argentina. So I said, what the heck, I'll pick Cuba.
Cool.
So I looked up in Cuba and there was going to be a Spanish language school. And you'd have lessons in the morning, usual story, and then in the afternoon you'd have trips or you'd play sport or maybe go to the pub, I don't know.
Yeah. With the crowd.
With the crowd, you know. Yeah. When I got there of a Saturday evening, I was put in with a host family, and now I had requested an apartment for the duration of the 3 week stay. I bet you paid extra for that, did you? I did, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So anyway, you know, Monday morning, into the apartment comes Jose. Who else would Jose? I was just saying to him, well, where's the language school? And he said, well, I'm your teacher. And it's kind of like it, like, you know. That went on for a few days. So you're kind of thinking, okay, where's the school? Where's the school, yeah. Where are the people? It was about 3 days later before I met the actual school director. Oh. Ronaldo. And he kind of said to me that this is the school. People are taught individually or collectively if they are at the same level. And now he said that I was a complete beginner and there was 3 other women and they were like, you know, intermediate and 2 advanced. So we couldn't have classes all together. Okay. When I actually said, well, surely we can like meet, you know, after classes. He wasn't too pushed on that. So, yeah. Did those people exist? They did exist. Did they? There was one Swiss lady I met, alright, briefly. Oh, okay. There'd be like an uprising of students if you got together. There was 4 students and it was him and his wife and Jose were at language school, so there was nearly as many students as teachers. So. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it was great. It was just great to go to a different country anyway. Must have been interesting. Like, you know, I wasn't like living in a hotel room. I was actually in an apartment in the old part of Havana, so that was great. Lovely, yeah. So did you stick with the language school or? I actually went home after 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. I was finding the afternoons and the nights hard to put down. So you live and learn. But you live and learn. What can you do? Yeah. So on the subject of language learning, like you had been, I don't know, learning a bit of Welsh. That's right. Yeah. So Welsh is another Celtic language, like the Irish language or Irish Gaelic. Yeah, it's belonging to the P-Celtic branch. So, like, what does that mean? Or P-Celtic, it's languages like Cornish, Breton, Welsh as well. Yeah. Okay. And then you have the C-Celtic branch of languages, which, you know, is Irish Gaelic and Manx Gaelic, Scots Gaelic. So Manx Gaelic is Isle of Man, right? Yeah, that's right. And that sits between the islands of Ireland and Great Britain. That's right. And then Scots Gaelic, as I've learned that people call it really, even in English. So is a really close relation to Irish. That's Gaelic, right, especially the Donegal. Up in the north of Ireland, yeah. So really it was a continuous kind of accent at one point, I would say. That you can see Scotland from the top point of Ireland, northeast. So yeah, but Welsh, it's a different language. Yes. So what are the similarities with Irish, or are there? Being honest, there are not a lot of similarities. Yeah, okay. Because you have these double-barreled consonants at the beginning and ends of words, which makes it completely different. So basically, like, you know, you can have a double L at the beginning of a word, it could be pronounced really, yeah. Yeah. Basically, at the end of the word, a double L pronounced get. Like that. Say that again? Get. Excellent, yeah. Okay. Did you keep learning? Last summer, I did an exam in the University of Bangor in North-West Wales. And I passed, basically. Yeah. That was a beginner's 2 exam. There are 5 official levels that they have in Wales. They, you know, maybe compared to Ireland, they actually have 5 levels. Okay. Say the beginners 2, the intermediate, the advanced and the fluent. You know, it's much clearer your progress in Wales.
Because you're referring to, there is an Irish qualification, the TEG.
That's right.
TEG, right? And we might talk about that a bit more on another podcast. Like, we had a Bitesize Irish Gaelic member staying with us, Terry. He was staying with us early in the summer, and he was doing that exam in Maynooth University in Ireland. Just to finish up quickly, because we are running out of time, but I was just wondering, had you met Irish language learners, like, outside of Ireland at all?
In Ireland?
In or outside of Ireland?
Oh yeah, in and outside. Well, it was just happened that 2 weeks ago I was in Arnmore Island. That's off the coast of Donegal. It's in the northwest Donegal. It's in the Gaeltacht.
Lovely. Out in the Atlantic.
Of the Atlantic, yeah. And one of the people on the trip was a fellow called Guy, living now in Castlebar, and you might know from his name Guy, he's French.
And he was able to speak.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He was able to sing Shannon songs as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it's funny, isn't it? The people who seem to be into learning Irish, it's not just a language in isolation. Irish is almost like a medium into tapping into like a lot of Ireland's traditional culture, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's the gateway.
It kind of sounded like that's how it happened to you as well. Like,
yeah, because basically, if you want to know about the place names, or if you want to know about the history or the songs, then you really have to have some grasp of Irish. Some grasp, at least.
I find it a bit funny that, you know, Irish people, it seems that it's almost wiped out of memory that 3, 4, 5 generations ago, whatever it may be, that their ancestors definitely spoke Irish, well, depending on your background, but pretty much the average Irish person. And, you know, it's kind of forgotten in a way, or, you know, almost shunned.
Yeah.
It's definitely fair to say
it's
that.
It's fair to say it's shunned. 3/4 of the population, absolutely. What I find interesting is we're talking about people from backgrounds.
Yeah.
For instance, up in Belfast, in East Belfast, I suppose the loyalists or the areas that...
How would you explain what does loyalist mean?
Yeah, loyalist, as in they're loyal to Britain, would be very much supportive of British rule in Belfast and Northern Ireland in general. And you would think, obviously, then that learning Irish would be sort of the antithesis for them. They actually now have language classes up and running in East Belfast, and they have an East Belfast Irish Language Festival.
Okay.
You know?
Like,
compare that to Limerick, is all I say.
Oh, that's true, isn't it?
You know?
Well, there's not that much going on in Limerick, say, for example, yeah. So Belfast is a great example of, like, urban Irish, isn't it?
Belfast, very, very strong for urban Irish. Especially if you go to West Belfast. They have Irish-speaking cafes and pubs, you know, where it's just natural language. Yeah.
Cool, yeah. And have you been on your travels outside of Ireland and came across people or learning Irish? Or?
Well, there was a barman in the Owl Triangle pub in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
In Canada, yeah.
He was going to St. Mary's University in Halifax, and he had Irish, for instance. And when I was in Australia, there was a vet in Sydney who was a fluent Irish speaker, you know, from Sydney, you know. And the barman in the Gaelic bar, in the Irish bar in Sydney, from Vancouver, he had Irish.
Let me get it right, he was a Canadian. Living in Australia?
Living in Australia.
And an Irish speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
But that's only really the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so many more.
Yeah. Irish people might find this surprising, and if somebody listening to this is like interested in learning Irish and they're all on their own, they might find this surprising as well, but there are literally thousands of people across the world learning Irish, and there's a great energy around it, and the internet provides us with a lot. You can watch TG Cahir television online, listen to Radio na Gaeltachta, Irish radio station, and just connect with other people, isn't it?
That's exactly it, yeah. Absolutely. They'd be surprised, whatever state you're in, maybe in the United States, you know, okay, not in your town, but it could be that there are actual Irish speakers all about
around
the place.
Yeah. So go look for them, don't despair, and even if you can't find them locally, you know, there's always a way that maybe we can help you as well along the way. But Well, Liam, fág ma dé mar sin, so gur míle maith is up de chuidama.
Fiber bit.
Bhí sé go deas who a bheith an céad podcréile de chuid Bitesize Irish Gaelic.
It's more on unor sin domsa.
Oh no. Thanks to Liam. So just to finish off this podcast, to find out more about the Bitesize Irish Gaelic podcast, go to bitesizeirishgaelic.com/podcast. I'm Eoin from Bitesize Irish Gaelic, and I'd love to hear what you think of this show. I'd love to hear your ideas and questions about, Irish heritage, Irish culture, Irish language. I'd love to hear from you. So email podcast@bitesizeirishgaelic.com. Thanks to Cuba, who provide the concertina reel used in this episode. So slán go fóill. Bye for now.